Welcome everyone to the Best of Markham podcast, brought to you by me, Igor Klibanov from FitnessSolutionsPlus.ca, your personal trainers for chronic conditions. Here with me today is Andrew Shevtsov, a local Markham Realtor. Andrew, thank you so much for being here. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Believe me, like I said, I really appreciate you having me on. So yeah, I'm Andrew the Realtor, Andrei Shevtsov, Andrew Shevtsov, myself, born in the Soviet Union a long time ago. Now a proud Canadian citizen. Got into real estate about 14 years ago. I live just outside of Markham, and I'm in the Markham area pretty much every other day. Um, Having been in the business, I've got to meet and see a lot of different businesses and such, and so I can honestly attest to the fact that Markham is a really, really amazing place overall, and just an amazing city. So I don't know if that covers it or not, but
That's perfect. Yeah, I actually lived in Markham from 2015 to 2021, and my wife and I just bought a house in Markham, and so we're moving back to Markham in March.
nice.
So yeah, I totally get what you're saying about Markham. And how'd you get into real estate in the first place?
Oh, 14 years now. I had a small export business that I had for a few years, exporting some things out of Canada and some other countries too, to Russia, to a few different places. And as that business was drying up, I had to get a few odd jobs just to make sure the bills were paid. I wanted to be responsible, and I was looking for something, some business that I would really kind of sink my teeth into. I love business. I love the idea that I can make something happen out of nothing. And so, a friend of mine recommended real estate. He had been a real estate agent since the late '60s. So this is somebody who really knew the business, really knew the GTA. And I got started. It was not an easy beginning, but man, I loved it. I loved the business aspect of it. And now, 14 years in, I got the moniker Ask Andrew probably about 7 or 8 years ago. Just because in life in general, I was often the person you ask for something if something needed to get done. And so I thought it was kind of a natural segue into that. I have a wife and a son, so I have balanced those things well with my business. But I'm still in real estate now, and I'm loving it.
Amazing, amazing. So speaking of which, what do you like most about being a realtor?
What I like most is actually two things, two kind of answers to that. The first is as I got into real estate after a few years, I'll be honest. I mean, there's I think 70,000 plus realtors on the Toronto Real Estate Board. So one might think, how important is the position? Honestly, it's just kind of another sales position. As I got into real estate after a few years, I noticed the importance of the role in general, how it affects not just the housing market and people involved in the housing market and all the spin-off businesses and everything else, but also especially in Canada, especially in Ontario, the immense effect it has on the economy as a whole. And I began to see like this is actually a really, really important thing, which also leads me to the second part of the answer, is that because if it's an important role, now I get to use this important role to help an individual or a family. So I actually I come in this person's life kind of almost out of nowhere sometimes. Sometimes this is a stranger that I meet through marketing or maybe through a referral. And I get to help them in a very important part of their life, an important step of their life,
Oh yeah.
and kind of do all the background work and everything else. And so I love that it actually is an important thing, even though sometimes it doesn't look like it. And it has a profound and tangible effect on other people's lives. And you see the benefit thereof years down the line as you see them develop and buy another property or something like that. And so it feels like you're actually contributing something really positive to society and those people specifically in the business.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's very, very rewarding, both in terms of like financially, because of the houses are crazy priced, but also just to see people get the house that they want, settle down, have a family, etc. And now you mentioned something about marketing. So what do you do for marketing? How do you get new clients?
I'm always, admittedly, always evolving. I always have some more things that I'm putting on. For the first few years, it was a matter of calling people, finding people online that had some inquiry of something, reaching out to areas, calling homeowners. So as that progressed and I began to have business, a lot of my business is referral based. It's from past clients and people that I've known through those clients over the past few years. I do quite a bit of marketing via mail. A lot of it is online. Marketing YouTube is something that I've enjoyed probably the past 2 years or so more specifically. And between all those things, and again, people seeing my work, enjoying my work, and actually speaking to others about the fact that I did a good job, that has kind of compounded into thank God, I actually a fairly consistent business. At the same time, I'm looking forward to advancing that, especially online, some of this more AI related stuff, which is I find very interesting. But so yeah, it's a matter of doing some of the original stuff that a lot of realtors do, referrals, word of mouth, speaking to past clients, but also getting into the social media aspect of things as well.
Gotcha. And so you said early on you were calling people, calling homeowners. Was it cold calls, warm calls, something else?
A lot of it was cold calls. When I first started, I knew nobody in terms of real estate. I didn't have a large sphere of influence. So
Yeah.
one of the first things I did, I spoke to a lot of investors. Now, the difficult part of it was most of those investors ended up not doing anything. But what it did do is it forced me to learn all about many, many avenues, or excuse me, many, many areas of the GTA. So everything from parts of Toronto, parts of York region, how I learned a lot about Markham, Durham. So I kind of was forced to learn a lot about areas that I didn't know before, which the benefit now is people tell me about an area or a location. I say, give me an intersection. I tell them about the area, which is kind
Yeah.
of interesting. So that's what it was. But a lot of it, honestly, was door knocking, cold calling, reaching out to people and seeing if they need service. Not the easiest, but it was rewarding after the time, after learning how to do it properly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, the hardest part for an entrepreneur or somebody who's like selling on commission is just getting your first client. You can't
Yes,
generate word of mouth if you don't even have a single client.
yes,
So that's always the toughest part. Well, and I started doing this. I have also started doing door-to-door sales
nice.
about 3 years ago for personal training. Um, and because I mean, amongst realtors, it's fairly common. Amongst personal trainers, nobody does this.
No, no, no.
Because of that, an incomparable advantage and highly, highly profitable as well. Uh,
Great, great
so
idea.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, between your different sources of new clients, between cold calls, between word of mouth, etc., do they all bring in an equal amount of your revenue, or is there one that predominates over the others?
Recently, the market has shifted from a kind of a seller's market to more of a buyer's market now. And
Yeah,
so over the past couple of years, what I've noticed is I still get a large chunk, probably anywhere 60 to 70%, a little over 50, we'll say, probably
yeah,
60 of my percent of my business is from word of mouth, referrals from past clients or people that know me, or through a referral company that I work with as well. And the rest came from a lot of social media, not as much from social media, but certainly some. Me reaching out, door knocking, calling, and kind of a snowball effect of all that over time. People contacting me once they're ready, and of course, following up with everybody as well, which is time consuming but rewarding once they start to call you for
yeah.
business.
Yeah, so I volunteer for the Markham Small Business Center, and some of my mentees are realtors, but I also have others like landscapers, tennis instructors, etc. And they always ask about time management. I always tell them, if it makes you money, prioritize it.
Yep,
Right. So there's really two things people should be doing in their business, which is one, serving their clients, two, looking for clients. If it's not one of those two, why are we doing it? Right.
yes,
For example, for you, obviously, it's working for social media. For some businesses, like personal trainers, social media is a complete waste of time and money. And yet, personal trainers do it because they see other personal trainers doing it, only seeing surface level metrics, likes, followership,
100% agree.
but not seeing what really matters, which is the bank account, and they'll never see that.
Mm,
Um, right. So if it works, do more of that. If it doesn't work, that's not called working. That's not called marketing. That's called wasting your time.
yep.
Right. So absolutely. So good for you for not being afraid to knock on doors, which a lot of people would not even dare. Um, so now, what are you working on right now that's exciting to you?
What's exciting? Well, I mentioned the fact that I'm kind of always trying to evolve into a more marketing and such. And I confess, as I'm sure you've seen this yourself, as business picks up, you need either help via assistant or something like that, or you need to streamline and systematize. I know it's not a word, but ways what you do with business. And one of the things that I'm trying to work with more and more right now is kind of part social media, part online marketing in general, kind of setting up a system, putting all the pieces together to have a nice marketing system where I'm kind of able to contact people automatically via video, via my advertisements while I'm servicing my clients. Because,
Yeah.
like you said, there are really only two things that you're doing. You're servicing the current clients or you're finding new clients. And if I can find a system that helps me find new clients while I'm servicing, that's
Yeah.
just that's kind of the next step. That's actually what I'm excited about. It does involve a little bit of AI and such, which is interesting. But for the most part, it's just efficient systems of getting and reaching out to other people.
Yeah, yeah. For me, what I found one of the most effective ways of doing that is email marketing.
Yep.
And there's a lot of stuff that's attractive to it. I started my email newsletter back in 2011. And what's attractive to me is zero algorithm changes. Email marketing, as I said, has been since 1993 when email came on the scene.
Yep.
And whether I write a newsletter for 10 people or 10,000 people or 100,000 people, it takes me the same amount of time to write that newsletter. So lots of leverage, and the newsletter is doing the work that I can't speak to. Right now I have 18,000 subscribers.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
absolutely, leverage is always exciting.
Yes.
Um, Earlier you also mentioned so referrals or referral group that you belong to. You mean something like BNI, Latip?
Oh, your referral business, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I'm happy to say there's a company called Agent Pronto that I use quite a bit. There are some referrals. It's a US based company, but it works in Canada as well.
right.
And there are not many others, but it's a referral company. Realtors from other areas or they themselves advertising online refer clients to different realtors in specific areas. The nice thing about it is, admittedly, you have to have a level of experience and certain level of production to be involved in the first place, and which is good for someone like myself because I'm one of a few that are able to do something in a specific area. So the referrals come to me. The other nice aspect in reverse is that if I have someone who's looking to, for example, I had a sale in Florida last year and London, Ontario, a little too far for me. I can refer through this system out to those agents.
Yeah,
And I know that the agents that will be calling that client are agents that have experience, that know the business, they're full-time workers, and they actually want the business and will service the business properly.
good.
So that's like one of those things. And I try to find more companies like that if I can. But that seems to be the one main one. The other referrals, of course, friends, sphere of influence, past clients, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It goes a long way.
Sure.
And what obstacles have you encountered in your time as a realtor?
Obstacles. You already mentioned one of them. Now the biggie is time management.
Yeah,
I'm happily married. I have a son who's 11 and a half years old, and I have to see both of those people on a regular basis. And so managing time somebody who's self-employed, especially, but especially the real estate business, is not the easiest thing. It's something I have to proactively do kind of in the first few years of my business. I
yeah,
remember my mentor, the one who got me into the business, he said, Andrew, he was late into his 70s and 80s now. He said, Andrew, I could work 24 hours a day if I wanted to. But he didn't. He has a wife and he had several kids. So my point saying that I had to, early in my career, I had to start setting certain boundaries
yeah,
time-wise. I'm not going to always do this. Or if I take an evening to do some client work and that kind of thing, see some buyers or something, I kind of almost have to make that up, maybe an earlier finish so I can play with my son.
right.
So point being, that specifically has been by far the biggest obstacle.
Yeah,
And as much as technology, AI, and all the different apps and stuff help with that, you still have to get it in your head. You still have to say no to things that normally you wouldn't say no to, like extra business, like maybe some smaller business that you could actually take advantage of. But you say, well, no, I need to spend time with my family. I have some responsibilities that I have to take care of. So that time schedule is an ongoing, like, it's almost like exercise. You just keep adding the weight to the bar, and
yeah.
that's what the schedule is like. It just gets more difficult. You have to say no to more and more things, and that's by far the biggest obstacle I find, not just with myself, but some of my colleagues as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's one of the most challenging parts of entrepreneurship because
Yes.
I assume most entrepreneurs love their business and it's so much fun. You just want to do more of it.
Sure.
But there's this other thing that you have an obligation to, like your family.
Yeah,
So
which is
it's
actually more important.
more
You
important,
know?
exactly, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a time management once you have a family is a whole other story. I don't have kids yet, but I'm glad my wife is as much of a workaholic as I am. So
Oh, thank
that
God.
helps a
That's a
little.
good mix.
Absolutely. Um, and you're a very busy guy. You're a realtor and dad and a husband, so you have very little free time. But the little free time you have, what do you spend it on?
Well, you're right in saying, honestly, the free time for me, especially at this phase of life, is very, very limited. I have some church obligations. We go to a church in Markham, so we know one of the reasons we're kind of attached to the Markham area. So I'm involved a little bit in that. And of course, I have the business side, and I have time with my son and my wife, and the sports and those kind of things. Outside of that, my free time is absolutely limited. I'm an early riser. I get up very early, so your personal you'd appreciate. I'm in the gym early in the morning,
Yeah,
good almost every day, but a half an hour, 40 minutes or so. Get some weight training in, a little bit of reading before that. So I've started using a very systematic kind of wake up coffee protein read
yeah,
gym. My wife is waking up, and I get to see her after that. So my free time is minimal. A little bit of reading here and there, try to catch up on some interesting things. A little bit of time in the gym. To be honest, outside of that, I really don't have as many hobbies. I don't.
yeah.
The things I used to do, I don't have much time for, at least in this phase of my life.
Right, right. What kind of stuff do you read?
I'm Christian. I read the Bible a lot. I like market stuff. I like different businesses. I have some books that admittedly have a hard time finishing. Some on like Atomic Habits, that kind of stuff. More kind of somewhat self-help type of things.
Yeah,
I love history and business, especially. I'm trying to kind of focus more on and try to read. I try to get a different perspective on business from people that are not in real estate. Amazon, there's a great book about Amazon that I was reading. Sometimes from other realtors, that's real estate, but business, a little bit of self-help, and when possible, I Google some history and those kind of things. Being a Russian, I think it's mandatory that I read some history on a regular basis.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. It's fascinating to me. When I was in
Yes,
school, besides personal training, one of the career paths I was considering was history. I
no
found
kidding.
as a teenager, like spending my free time watching the History Channel.
Oh,
Uh,
awesome,
really
awesome.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And in a similar vein to you, I like reading books about marketing from other businesses. I don't like reading what other personal trainers are doing because then I would make the same money as other personal trainers. I want to make more than that. Um, and if you ask most personal trainers, what do you do for marketing? They're going to tell you two things. One, word of mouth, and two, social media. But if you really, really press them on it and you ask, do you do anything deliberate to generate word of mouth? They say, no, I just do a good job. In other words, no strategy. Um, Option two, social media. And if you press them on that, how many clients do you get through social media? The answer is almost always very close to zero.
Yep,
In other words, their marketing is no marketing, and or their marketing is the illusion of marketing with social media. Um, Whereas in my case, I don't use either one of those. Yes, I get word of mouth occasionally. I post on Facebook for personal reasons, not for professional ones. Same thing with LinkedIn. Don't use
sure.
Instagram or TikTok at all. But for me, my big four marketing strategies in no particular order are public speaking, email marketing, book publishing, and door-to-door sales. Um, and none of those I got from personal trainers. I got those from other industries, like door-to-door sales. I got it from realtors actually, as an element from timeshare salespeople.
Yeah,
The public speaking, I got that from the whole industry of get rich in real estate, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, so
yep,
that those guys. Book publishing, email marketing. I got book publishing. I got that from consultants who consult about things like leadership, human resources, stuff like that.
yeah.
And public speaking, get rich in real estate. Email marketing, got it from, well, digital marketers. None of that has anything to do with personal training, but what's common to them and uncommon to my industry has a much bigger effect in my industry because my competitors aren't doing it and they can't see me doing it. Unless they run into me on the street when I'm knocking on doors, they have no idea. Unless they're in the boardroom where I'm doing a presentation, they have no idea that that's what I'm doing. If all they see is my online presence, they'll see that it's a ghost town. Like I haven't posted on Instagram in 3 years. Uh,
Mm,
right? They'll see all my posts on Facebook and it's personal stuff as well as like these podcasts.
yeah.
Right. So I absolutely get you on liking to read books about marketing from other industries, not your own.
Agreed,
Okay,
agreed.
totally. Now, since this is, after all, a Best of Markham podcast, what's your favorite business in Markham besides your own?
Well, my answer would be a bit of a cop out. I'll apologize in advance. Because of my lack of free time, and I'm very easygoing in terms of food and stuff, so I don't stick to one place. It's kind of like whatever's available if necessary. I will say, I know what is it? Markville Mall.
Yeah,
I know that's an odd thing for a guy to say, but it happens to be near a church, and so my family goes there fairly regularly, often for lunch, go to the food court and that kind of thing. When my wife and I travel, we love to travel, be here or Europe, wherever.
yeah,
If you're in like a city and you're in a hotel, you go around, you often go see a mall nearby or something.
yeah,
And when I thought about this question, like undoubtedly he's going to ask Markham specifically, where do I spend the most time? And really enjoyable time, which of course is with my wife and my son, is Markham Mall. And
yeah,
what's interesting is, yes, it is just a mall and such, but it happens to have all those aspects of a mall that are nice. It's always clean. The
yeah,
facilities are clean. Everything's
100%.
around. There's lots of different stores, and they're actually useful stores, not just kind of really expensive stores endlessly. It's a lot of really useful things, high end, low, middle, and when I think Markham, that's probably one place I've spent the most time in. Again, enjoyable time with my family, and the food court is awesome. You get to try different foods and such. And again,
Yeah,
it's just the environment is positive. It's well lit. I mean, these are, as a realtor, I look at these little things here.
yeah.
And yeah, I would say, yeah, if someone is in Markham and they're staying with some family or something, go to Markham Mall. There's some great stores there and such, and
Oh,
it's a
yeah.
nice walk, and you stay warm from the cold.
100%. Can't disagree with that. There's this one crepe place I really, really like inside Markville Mall, their food court. I don't think it's a chain, it's a one-off, but they do savory crepes and sweet crepes. They're just outside of the main food court.
Oh, I
And
think I know what you're talking about. I got to try that out. I've walked past it.
yeah, I highly recommend it. If you get a chance, go there. Their crepes are amazing. Why they don't have more customers than they do, I always wonder because I think it's because there's big chains, but their crepes are amazing, out of this world. If you get a chance to go to that crepe place, I
No,
recommend
I
it.
will. Guaranteed, I will.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And lastly, how can our viewers and listeners get in touch with you?
Oh, I am on the internet quite a bit, most recently on social media, just almost like branding. You can YouTube. I try to be on YouTube a little more recently. Got a bit of a following, kind of working on it. My listings are on there, which is really important for my clients specifically, getting a few thousand views each one. You can YouTube Ask Andrew the Realtor, Google Ask Andrew the Realtor, and with Century 21 Leading Edge, which main office in Markham. Their long, long history in Markham, that brokerage specifically. But yeah, Andrew the Realtor, you can look at that, or Ask Andrew the Realtor. Catch me online easily.
Awesome, awesome. And all those details will also be in the show notes as well.
Oh,
Andrew, thank
nice.
you
Thank
so
you.
much. I really appreciate this.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely.